Hello everybody, welcome to our channel. I'm saying our channel because Mark isn't here, as you can see, he's working at the moment, but I thought I'd just come on and do a little chat about what we want to do on YouTube and how we want our channel to work for you. The reason I started this channel was because we both love to travel, and we always use social media to, like most people, you know, Facebook, Instagram, putting photographs on, and I love things like that. I love seeing people's holidays and their holiday experiences on Facebook and Instagram, but I just thought I could do so much more than that. And my background is actually from travel. I used to be a travel agent a long time ago, probably 30 odd, maybe even more than that years ago. I was a travel agent for a few years in a local town near where I lived, and then I got a job for a tour operator that was based in West Sussex, and if you're a similar age to me, then you might remember them. They were called Unijet Holidays. So I worked for them for a number of years. I got a job as a sales rep in this country, not abroad, unfortunately. But I was a sales rep for them in this country, and then I was the sales manager for the north of England. So my job basically was to go around to the travel agents in the north of England and promote our products. So initially it was just flight only that we did. And then we expanded and we had a villas and apartments program, so package holidays, and an America program, and then eventually a Caribbean program. So I was really fortunate from quite a young age to do loads of travelling, because we used to take travel agents on what are called familiarisation trips. So we'd take them out to, say, Orlando, show them around all the attractions and the hotels that we did, in hope that they would go back and obviously sell our holidays to the likes of yourselves. So I kind of got the travel bug from being round about 19 years of age, and prior to that, you know, I hadn't done a lot of travelling, and probably like most people, you know, my parents weren't particularly that adventurous. I mean, I remember you know, we went to Mallorca for the weekend just to test it out, you know, just to see if it was going to be okay. And I'm sure, you know, everybody's got a story like that. I mean, I know there are people that were fortunate to travel when they were younger. But yeah, I'll never forget that trip, actually. It was amazing because we, for some reason, and I can't remember why now, the aircraft was changed and we ended up flying with, you'll remember this, I'm giving away my age here, but Laker Airways. And amazingly, Freddie Laker was actually on the plane. And I'll never forget it, because it was back in the day when when you got to the airport, when you landed at your destination, there used to be a photographer at the bottom of the aircraft steps taking photographs that you could then purchase, I think probably on the way back, because it probably took a week for them to be developed. And Freddie Laker had signed it, and I need to try and find that. If you've got a similar experience like that, then please let me know. Drop it in the comments below, because that was a memory for me, and I think I was probably about 13 at the time. So you'll all be able to work out how old I am now. Anyway, so that was the kind of that from being a young age, I didn't travel a lot, and then I got into travel, so I got the travel bug. Obviously then you have children, so you're just doing the normal family type holidays, and then you kind of get to an age, don't you, where your children have kind of all grown up and they're probably all travelling more than us, and it's what's going on here? So we got to a stage in our lives where we thought, you know what, there's so many places that we want to see, and we need to make a bucket list of where we want to go. So basically, that's exactly what we did. And in the past 7 years, I had to write them down actually, because we've been to so many places. And this is what I want to find out from you, is what you want to know, where you want to, know about the places that, you think you'd like to go to, but you want more information, etc. But in the past 7 years, we've been to Barcelona, Seville, Venice, we've been to South Africa twice, Tanzania, Iceland, and Zanzibar as well, Iceland, Santorini, Corfu, the Amalfi Coast, and Ischia, one of the islands off the Amalfi Coast, Capri, Portugal, Valencia, Croatia, and Amsterdam. And if you've had a look at my channel, you'll notice that recently we've just cruised the Caribbean on Marella, which was amazing. So that's how I kind of started the YouTube journey, really, because I did some videos and what have you. And as I said, I've actually shot them in portrait, so they're not coming out that well on YouTube, but I'm kind of learning as I go along, really. So I do get asked quite a lot when I've been on holiday, and especially if I've put an album on Facebook or something like that, and people want to know how I booked it, what made us decide to go there, etc., what the accommodation was like, what we did while we were there, and generally how I planned the trip, because I don't usually book a package holiday as such. Now then, that's probably because of my background in travel, and I do enjoy planning the trip myself rather than kind of having to stick to a rigid itinerary. And I can understand that could be daunting for some people. They want a travel agent to book it, etc., which I fully understand. And nowadays, there are so many travel agents, they're so much more flexible, and they will do tailor-made holidays to your requirements. But for me, I love the process of researching and deciding where I'm going to go. And it's a bit of a standing joke in our house, because when I'm planning a holiday, I retreat to the office and they probably don't see me for about a week, because I'm there researching where we're going, especially on the long haul trips, because they're obviously a lot more complex. So basically what I'm planning to do is I want to put some content together to put onto YouTube, so that of places of interest to people. And I think where I'm going to start is probably on the long haul trips, the more unusual trips. So South Africa and probably Tanzania. We were very fortunate enough to do a couple of safaris as well. So I can tell you a little bit about the safaris that we went on, and basically about the places in general. When we went to South Africa, I remember thinking to myself, oh gosh, I've heard so many horror stories, and is it going to be really scary, and have we got to be really careful, and you do have to be careful, but I realise that you hear these stories, but a lot of it is about using your common sense while you're out there. That there is crime, and it wouldn't be wise to walk around certain places in the dark, etc., etc. So it's just things like that. And I absolutely loved South Africa. We both fell in love with South Africa, to the point where we went the first year and we loved it so much that we went back again. So before I go on to say any more, because I'm waffling a little bit here, please, if you want more information, please press the subscribe button and give me a like, and any comments at all about anything that you may want to know about on the places that we have been to, then I will happily help give any information if I can. So as I said, we've already put some videos on of the cruise that we did over Christmas with Morella. We absolutely loved the cruising with Morella. It was amazing, and it was something that I wasn't sure we would enjoy. I've cruised before, but it was many years ago. I enjoyed it, but I just think now a lot of these huge ships, you know, there's just so many people, and they're almost like, you know, well, they are towns, that floating towns. And it kind of put me off a little bit because I'm so used to kind of planning my own travel arrangements, and I didn't want to feel as though I was being kind of herded around. You know, I was really pleasantly surprised because I didn't feel like that. But the one thing I absolutely loved about the cruise that we did, you can see it on the playlist. We did 2 weeks in the Caribbean, and at first I thought, is 2 weeks going to be too much on a ship? It wasn't, by the way. I could have stayed a month. I mean, I could still be on it now and I'd be happy. But the one thing that I loved was you got to see so many places, but I just unpacked everything. I mean, how many of you have been on trips and toured around and lived out of the suitcase? And, you know, I don't mind doing that, but it's just sometimes you just want to just get all your stuff out, hang it in a wardrobe, and almost feel like a bit at home, you know. And I unpacked, and that was the one thing that I was like, oh my God, I don't have to pack that again. I can just leave it there. And every morning we're going to arrive in a different destination, and I've not had to lug my baggage around, and you know, so that was what was fantastic about the cruise. However, I'm not saying I would never do a land tour again, because obviously there are certain places that you can't cruise. You've got to do a land tour, so you've got to kind of move around. So the next video that I'm going to be putting on is going to be Tanzania, Zanzibar. So let me know if you've been to Zanzibar. Let me know what you thought about it. I'm going to split it up because we went for 3 weeks, so if I put everything on, it will take me forever and it'll be really long and probably boring. So I'm going to split it up because we went to lots of different places. We started off in a place called Jambiani, but I can tell you all about how I arranged the whole trip, the hotels that we booked, how I booked them, the trips that we did, how we arranged those, and also the transportation in between. So we did a week in Jambiani at first, then we went over to Stone Town, and I think that's the first one I've got on the go at the moment. When we have 4 days in, or 3 or 4 days in Stone Town, I think it was, and it was fabulous. And that was the reason I'm doing that first, is because a lot of people ask about Stone Town because they're worried that it's dangerous. Okay, now then, we had an amazing place there. I won't tell you too much about it because I'm going to put it in the next video. But again, I was worried about going, and you know what, I am so glad we went, and I'm so glad we went and spent time there, because a lot of people just do it for the day. And you know, they'll hear things and people will be careful, and you've got to cover up, and you've got to do this, and you haven't. But obviously you've got to be respectful because it's a Muslim country, so you don't walk around in just your bikini top. Not that I would do that anyway, because believe me, everybody would probably just run a mile. So you know, you've got to be respectful, but you can wear shorts, you can wear a vest top. But if you're going somewhere in town where it's a religious place, then you're best taking, I just took a shawl to put round my, you know, like just a linen throw thing to put round my shoulders. So yeah, Stonetown was amazing, and we stayed in the most amazing apartment. You have to watch the next video because it blew my mind. It was just beautiful. So that's going to be the next video, which will be Stonetown. But also we went to, we flew to Tanzania, we flew to Arusha, excuse me, and then we went to do a safari. We went to the Serengeti and the Ngorongoro crater, which was amazing, a really great experience. Now, we've both done a safari before, and I can tell you a little bit about safaris as well, because I've done 3 safaris. I've been very, very fortunate. I've done a safari in Kenya on the Masai Mara. I've done a safari in South Africa, which was a private game reserve. So interestingly, there's lots of different types of safaris, and people don't realise that. So you've got your private game reserves, and then you've got the actual safaris that are out in the wilderness on the plains of Africa, where you see the animals really in their natural habitat. And I would say for me, that is the best experience. And I'd experienced that, and then I went to a private reserve. But I love that. I did really enjoy it. The game reserves are amazing, really luxurious, and it was fantastic. Enjoyed that. And then this one, which was again different again, but most enjoyable. So I can tell you about that. And I booked all these things independently. I didn't use a travel agent, but as I said, you can use a travel agent if it's something that you're not used to doing. But I would encourage you, you know, if you do enjoy traveling, to do your research and try and plan a trip yourself, because once you've done it, you get so much satisfaction out of it. So after that, I think after Zanzibar, I think we're going to do some work on South Africa. As I said, because this is all stuff that we've done and we didn't necessarily video it for YouTube specifically, I'm going to try and get as much information together. But I think what we might do on the South Africa one is probably both of us come and have a chat about the experience and how we both found it, because it was probably one of our best trips, South Africa. As I said, we went twice, and we did very different trips both times. The first time we did the garden route. If anybody has done the garden route, could you let me know in the comments below? We did the garden route the first time and a safari, and the second time we went back to Cape Town again, stayed in a fabulous place. We went back to the same place that we stayed at the first time, in Camps Bay. Beautiful little boutique hotel run by a lovely couple. Found it on booking.com and it was just stunning, so I can share all the information about that. And then we went, after the second time, we went up to the other coast. Let me think now, the west coast of South Africa. And I just researched stuff and found this gorgeous place called Paternoster, and we stayed there for a couple of days, and then we went into the Cederberg Mountains, which was amazing, and we stayed at a fabulous place there, which I can tell you all about as well. Of course, we went to Franschhoek, which is where all the vineyards are. We went back there for a second time because we'd been the previous time to Franschhoek. Beautiful, beautiful place. And the other thing about South Africa, so cheap, such good value for money. I mean, you're talking a glass of wine is probably about, let me think now, £2 or £3. A bottle for a really good bottle of wine, you're talking £4 or £5. You can have a good meal in South Africa with a bottle of wine at a really nice restaurant for probably about £25 a head. So if you're thinking of going to South Africa, you will get good value for money. It really is amazing. So that's the content that should be coming up. So if you're interested in any of those places, then please press subscribe and get a notification for when they go on. Hopefully they will be in the next couple of weeks or so. I've got to get everything together for that. And then after that, I'll be proper YouTubing, because I've got the equipment now. Not that you need a lot of equipment, a phone, but I've got like a gimbal, and I've got my microphone now as well. So it makes it all a lot clearer. So what have we got coming up? So we've just done the cruise. I think we're going to be going away in April because it's Mark's 60th birthday, and I think we're going to go on another cruise. Yeah, we are. We're going to go on another cruise. I think we're going to do a Greek cruise with Morella again, because we loved the Morella experience so much. So that's in April. In May, we're being a bit greedy this year on holidays because it's Mark's 60th, so we thought, well, why not? So in May, we're going to Florence. And I think we've got 3 days in Florence, and then we're driving into Tuscany, and we're going to a place called San Gimignano. I think that's how you pronounce it. And we've got a week there at a gorgeous family-run hotel, which I can tell you all about. And we're going to cycle there. And you've probably noticed from some of my other videos, if any of you like cycling, whenever we go away, we always book a day cycling. I mean, we have done a week cycling. Actually, we did a week self-guided cycling in Corfu, and there is a video on about that if you're interested. But obviously I understand not everybody wants to cycle, but we absolutely love it. So we're doing 4 days, and again it'll be self-guided. So if anybody's interested in self-guided cycling, I use an app that I use. I can tell you all about that as well, and I will do on that video. So we've got that coming up in May, and then in October we've got the cruise bug. We really have got the cruise bug. We're going on another cruise. We're going to we go from Palma. I think it's called the Mediterranean Medley. I can't remember now off the top of my head. We go from Palma, and it's a week cruising. I think we go to Sicily, Corsica, Sardinia, and they're 2 places that I want to go to, but I kind of just want to go and see them. I don't necessarily, that's what I love about cruising. You know, I want to go to Corsica, but do I want to go for a whole week there? Probably not. And I want to go to Sardinia as well. So cruising is the best way to do it, isn't it? You know. So, and then I think we do Rome. We've both been to Rome before, and we do Naples, where we've both been before as well. And there's a couple of other stops, but I can't remember now. That's not till October. And we're doing a week cruise there, and then we've got a week in Mallorca, in Calabona, just relaxing. But I wish we were doing 2 weeks cruise now, because I love it so much. So yeah, so that's what's coming up with travelling, the travelling Hiltons we are. That's what we are, the travelling Hiltons. So if any of that is of any interest to you whatsoever, then let me know, and I will definitely keep you updated. So thanks for watching. I look forward to you joining us on our next little chat about South Africa. In the meantime, I'm going to get on with my Stone Town. Oh, my batteries, it's just saying my battery's low. Sorry about that. I'll get on with my Stone Town video, and if you've got any questions, then just fire away, because I'd love to answer and love to help. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again soon. Bye. Ciao for now.